Failure is something that we look at completely wrong. And it's something that I've really struggled with in the 46 years of my life. Because when I look back to my earlier years, when I actually started to fail at things, I really felt down about myself. I didn't feel good about myself at all because, I put myself out there, tried to do something and it did not work out. And even though I might have put 100% effort into it, I felt really bad about myself. And sometimes I pretty much give up. And that's just the wrong way of looking at it. And it's something that I feel that in modern day society, where we're kind of hoping to put an end to this kind of stigma around failure, because you see a lot more people talking about it through YouTube and other social medias. And also as well, you're seeing like small content creators, just everyday kind of people, so to speak, who are going about, setting up small businesses and, maybe what would be travel content creators, photographers and all these kind of things. But now these kind of people are being a little bit more open, a little bit more authentic about their journey and how things haven't actually gone to plan, how they've, tried different things, how they've actually failed. And through those failures that they've then decided, to pivot, to try and move in a completely different direction. And through those failures and those different pivots, it's led them on to actually being the person that they actually want to be. And that's something that I personally am working on at the moment, because I found that, especially through the years as I was growing up, I always wanted to do certain things and I knew I wanted to be creative, I knew what things, but I always had a lot of self-doubt. As soon as I failed at something, I just basically gave up. I felt that people were going to be talking about me and stuff like that. I always felt that I had to get everything right instantly. Otherwise, if I wasn't perfect at it straight away, then this isn't for me. But that's where I feel that, this our downfall is that we want to do something that as soon as we try a certain thing and it doesn't work out and we fail at something, that we just give up completely. Because when you look at like certain like celebrities in regards to say like football stars, you've got your Messi, Ronaldos and things like that, even though they might be gifted footballers, a lot of them, have sacrificed a lot of their time. They've gone through a lot of failures, got a lot of ups and downs throughout their careers, but they stuck to the path that they actually wanted to be on and they've gone through it and they've actually done it. And that goes with the same with, business people as well. You've even got to look at like someone that pretty much everyone knows, which is like Simon Cowell. But before Britain's Got Talent, X Factor and that sort of thing, that guy, he failed at plenty of things. I think he was bankrupt 2 or 3 times before he actually got to where he got to. And it was through those kind of like those failures that he actually had that he worked out what he was doing wrong, what he needed to do to actually put it right and put himself on a correct course. Because sometimes when we fail at small little things and that lot, it doesn't really affect us, especially if we know that a lot of people, that are friends or family haven't really noticed it. We tend to just brush them aside and it's not too bad. But when we actually fail, say on a bigger scale, and especially now, like with today's society, because everything's heightened on social media, so those failures might be, broadcast to all your friends, all your family, or maybe even to a wider audience, depending on who you are. And it's through those sort of things then that people get really down. They beat themselves up about it. They think that, they've had this big failure, that's it, it's all game over, whether they've lost the money, relationship, the business that they actually wanted. But sometimes I find that it doesn't mean that it's over. We're all going to go through these hard times. We're all going to have times where it actually goes wrong. And it doesn't matter who you are. Even when you look at someone like Jeff Bezos, I was listening to an interview with, I think it was with Lex Friedman, and basically he was explaining like he set up obviously Amazon, started being hugely successful in that lot, but he also put a lot of business, a lot of money into other ventures inside of the Amazon, ecosystem, in regards to like pets and other things like that. And it cost him billions. Like he completely failed, completely lost out on a lot of different things. Now, you might say that, he could afford to do it, but still he took risks, he still failed. And a lot of other business people and other, people online that I actually follow, they all showcase, their failures and all the things that they've gone through to actually get to where they've gone to. And it doesn't matter who these people are, even whether they're successful in business, they might be super successful in business, everything's gone swimmingly well, they've opened up a store, they're billionaires straight away, it doesn't make a difference. Then they might have like serious personal problems, the relationship haven't gone well, while. They don't get to see their kids. They failed on that side of life. No one's life is ever perfect, and even though we want to work at things and we want to try and do things all the time, there's always going to be these pitfalls where we actually fail. But it's through these times that we really need to pick ourselves up and learn from these particular incidences to actually improve as people as we move forward through life. And it's something that I've really started to learn to actually put myself out there, because at the moment now, as I'm trying to grow, making videos for YouTube and stuff like that, I know that personally for me, that I've never been such a big talker as in regards to talking to a camera and stuff like that. And I'll sit here, and this is probably 20th time that I've tried to record this one video, because I don't like to script things. I want to just talk off the cuff and and just be myself. Whether I might repeat myself a few times or whatever else, I'd rather it be that than being scripted and just trying to sound like other people. But through that, I keep failing, I keep making mistakes constantly, and it gets highly frustrating. And many a times I do feel like giving up, and I think that even like this video that I'm recording now, if I can get to the end, fantastic. But then I do think to myself, is this good enough? And that lot. And it's still those little doubts and stuff like that. But I think when we actually put it all together, all those little failures, we're always going to have, self-doubt and other things like that. But it helps us grow as a person. And I think that also, that now, like I was saying before, people are showing their authentic side and stuff like that. Hopefully now we can hopefully push this down to the younger generation, because this is something that I think that would benefit the most, because younger kids nowadays, especially when we're thinking of social media and stuff like that, a lot of kids do not want to put themselves out there. They don't want to try certain things simply because they're worried about what everyone else thinks. And they know if they fail, if they cock up, it's going to be showcased between all their friends, and everyone's going to laugh at them. Oh, you can't do this, yada, yada, yada. Why even try? And then people will talk them out of it. And they're too scared then to go and do something else because they failed at that. And it's something that I really feel personally for me, it should be implemented in some sort of way into the school system. I think the whole school system in itself should be redone. It needs to come up with modern day times anyway. But I think that through school and that especially helping kids in school now, build with relationships, building a business, wanting to be entrepreneurs, all these kind of things. I understand the school system's not designed for that, but that's what it should be. And moving into that kind of thing is learning how to deal with failures, how to deal with setbacks. And if we could instill that all to the kids in school, that there's nothing wrong with failing, that it's all part of life, it's all that that road that builds you to the successful person that you actually want to be. Hopefully then, that if kids are brought up on it, so much understand that it's okay to fail, that then people will just try and try to better themselves without each other holding each other back, because people are too scared to go out and try different things. And I think that even is definitely one of the most important things moving forward, especially in the new generations, is to try and teach the younger kids. And I do try personally to instill this into my daughter and that lot. I'm not saying that I'm perfect, because it's something that I struggle with myself even today. I will say the biggest shift for me especially has come this year, where I've decided just to put stuff out and not worry about what people think of me. Do you know what I mean? I've been putting out videos that I know that won't work on Instagram, but I just want to get over that fear of people looking at me, judging me and saying, that video didn't work, why are you putting that? You don't get no views, no one likes that on Instagram, stuff like that. But that is kind of mentally, giving me a mental shift, so that I don't overthink things. And then when I start going out and creating other videos, I'm not looking for those likes, I'm not looking for all the comments, I'm not looking for all those shares or anything else like that. I'm creating the stuff that I enjoy, that I can put out there, and I'm not worried that if those particular videos flop or fail or anything else like that, I can look at those videos, grow from them and improve over time. And with that, I won't have the mindset of people are going to be judging me or anything else like that. And I think that that's something that we all need to kind of implement in our way. And there's some people out there who can do it absolutely perfectly well, and that's absolutely fantastic. There's some people I know who could not give a monkey's about what people think and failing and cocking up. They don't give a monkeys, and that's absolutely brilliant. And I take my hat off to people like that, I really do. But I will say the vast majority, especially like I say for the younger kids, don't think like that, especially nowadays. A lot of people hold each other back, and it's something that I think that us as a society really need to improve on. And I'm hoping that through videos like, not just like the ones that I make, because I'll say that I don't really particularly have all the answers. I'm hoping that I will do in the future, but I do want to bring like awareness to it, and try and highlight to people that it is okay to fail, it is okay to make mistakes in life, and that through those little mistakes it leads you to the person that you actually want to be. And that's something that's helped me grow over the last 10 years. Like, I always knew that I actually wanted to do YouTube, I always knew that I wanted to make videos and and that kind of thing, but I used to cock up all the time. Like, I used to make vlogs, they flopped all the time and that lot, and I just think, oh, I'm not good enough, and it always put me down. It made me procrastinate, put things off. But I really, started to learn more about myself, and through learning a lot more about myself, learning that it's okay to cock, all these things failed and that lot, but maybe that wasn't, the type of content that you were meant to create. And that as I've pivoted over these last few years, and the way that now social media works, it's kind of like all come about all at the right time, and I feel a lot more confident about myself than I've ever done before. And I'm not really worried about failing. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't want to fail. I want everything to be absolutely perfect, but I'm okay with the setbacks. I'm okay with the failures, because then I can look at them, analyze them, see what I've done wrong, and then move forward. And I'm really hoping that us as a society, that we can actually get together now, teach the younger generation that, failing is absolutely fine, absolutely perfectly okay, and that no matter what you do, you can pretty much achieve any goals, realistic goals and dreams that you have, as long as you just get past those setbacks, get through the failures, and just learn from them, and then actually create the life that you actually want. Anyway, I probably overwent a few times talking about certain things, but I do apologize. Like I say, I like to make them off the cuff and that lot, and just go through the thought processes in my head. It makes me feel a little bit more confident, a little bit more authentic about the content that I'm actually putting out there. So hope you enjoyed this video. I will be leaving it here. Like I said, I will be making some other like-minded videos as well, and I will hope that you guys enjoyed this one. If you'd like to leave a comment about anything in the description down below. Also, if you could drop a like, it'd be absolutely perfect, and if you could subscribe, that'd be amazing. Thank you very much.